Her own brother severed her head, preserved it for days, then discarded it in a public restroom. Alive, she was forced to share his bed, a vessel for his lust. Dead, she became his lottery ticket, a life insurance payout lining his pockets with blood money. A mysterious handwritten letter was sent to the Datong police station of Sanchong Precinct, New Taipei City Police Department. The letter read, "Chen Wanting's body is in the men's restroom at the park 200 meters next to the Shuishang Farmers Association in Jiayi. I can't handle it. Please, kind-hearted people, help. Left by a good Samaritan." At first, the police dismissed it as a prank. The letter was clearly mailed from Taipei, yet the return address was written as Taoyuan. Coupled with the strain on police resources at the time, the authorities temporarily set the matter aside. But to everyone's shock, around 6 p.m. that same day, a body was indeed discovered in the men's restroom behind the Xuansu Tiangong Mazu Temple. That day, a cleaning lady went about her usual routine of cleaning the public restroom. As soon as she entered the men's room, a strange foul odor hit her. The cleaning lady didn't think much of it, assuming it was just a clogged sewer. But when she pushed open the last stall, a large black plastic bag came into view. The stench seemed to be emanating from it. Cursing under her breath about people's lack of decency, she opened the bag. What she saw next, however, sent chills down her spine. Inside the bag was a bloody severed head. After receiving the report, the Jiayi Police Department Shuishang Precinct rushed to the scene. A preliminary investigation revealed that the plastic bag also contained a note, on which was written, "Sanchong Chen Wanting." The police promptly reported this to their superiors. At this point, officers from Sanchong Precinct recalled the anonymous letter from that morning. When the two precincts compared the notes, they found that the handwriting was identical. In other words, both notes were written by the same person. This was bizarre. The killer seemed to be deliberately leading the police to the body. But what was their motive? The police then checked the missing persons database and found a total of 64 individuals named Chen Wanting reported missing across Taiwan. Meanwhile, the autopsy report for the victim came back. The entire head had been severed from the jaw, with no neck attached, making it a horrifying sight. The remains appeared to have been stored for a long time, as the head had shriveled significantly, suggesting the killer might have refrigerated it. Even more unsettling was that the head was covered in a thick layer of salt, with only a few sparse clumps of hair remaining on the scalp. From the facial features, it could barely be identified as a woman in her 30s. The head itself had been wrapped in 7 layers. First in a pair of underwear, then in several layers of clothing and plastic bags. Forensic tests revealed that the underwear carried the semen of 2 different men. Based on the victim's characteristics, the police quickly narrowed it down to Chen Wanting, a woman from Sanchong district who had gone missing the previous December. When Chen's mother arrived at the morgue, she recognized at a glance that the clothes wrapped around the head were ones she had personally bought for her daughter. Suppressing her terror, the mother examined the face. The missing upper front teeth matched her daughter Chen Wanting's distinct dental feature. At that moment, Chen's mother was certain the head belonged to her daughter. Overwhelmed by grief, Chen's mother collapsed to the ground. She couldn't fathom what kind of deep-seated hatred the killer held to commit such an unspeakably cruel act. Chen Wanting, originally named Chen Shuhui, was the 4th of 5 siblings in her family. Among all her brothers and sisters, Chen Wanting was undoubtedly the most beautiful. From childhood, she had been the school belle, never lacking suitors. Yet, unfortunately, her striking looks brought her not fortune, but endless misfortune. At the age of 15, the naive and impressionable Chen Wanting fell for a local delinquent. From then on, she followed him into smoking, drinking, and skipping school. Despite repeated warnings from the school to her parents, Chen Wanting remained indifferent. Finally, after being caught using illegal substances, she dropped out entirely. After 3 years of drifting aimlessly, Chen Wanting married her delinquent boyfriend, defying her family's objections and resolutely leaving Sanchong district to follow her husband to Taoyuan. Soon after, they had a son. But happy times were fleeting. Not long after, her husband was drafted into military service. With no education, Chen Wanting could only work as a hair-washing assistant in a salon. Facing grueling hours and constant verbal abuse from customers and her boss, she swallowed her grievances, quietly waiting for her husband's return. Yet what awaited her in the end was divorce papers. Not only that, her husband also took custody of their son. Around 2002, Chen Wanting returned alone to her hometown, Sanchong district. When her father learned that his daughter had thrown everything away for a marriage that ended in abandonment, even losing her own child, he was so enraged that he was hospitalized. Already suffering from chronic illnesses, he passed away not long after. The family's burdens suddenly fell on Chen's mother and older siblings, who often blamed Chen Wanting for their hardships. Under immense pressure, Chen Wanting's mental state began deteriorating. With no other options, she moved in with her second brother, Chen Jiafu, surviving on government assistance and her mother's occasional support. Yet even under Chen Jiafu's care, Chen Wanting remained restless. She would frequently disappear for days at a time. When police questioned those around her, they finally learned what she had been doing. After her mental decline, Chen Wanting often wandered the Datong South Road Market in Sanchong. She would typically wear white pajamas and slippers, her face caked in heavy makeup, roaming aimlessly. One moment, she'd demand people in the back of the market call her sweetie. The next, she'd insist those at the front call her Xiao Hong. Most people avoided the erratic woman, though some kind-hearted neighbors pitying her would occasionally give her small amounts of money. Over time, however, Chen Wanting turned to prostitution. She would often flag down taxi drivers and ask, $500, want it? At first, drivers didn't understand, until she clarified, 100 NT for a feel, or 50 if you're cheap. If they agreed, she would climb into the cab. This was why she kept vanishing without explanation. Eventually, Chen Wanting fully embraced sex work, and her name spread among taxi drivers. In the end, she even started bringing men home, which infuriated her brother Chen Jiafu. The two often fought over it. From neighbors, police also learned that Chen Jiafu had been very good to his sister. He would bring her meals after work, often slipping her spending money, 200 or 300 NT at a time. If he saw her outside, he would even hold her hand and walk her home. This left investigators puzzled. Records showed that, due to her mental condition, Chen Wanting received 8,000 NT in monthly aid, which her mother entrusted Chen Jiafu to distribute in 2 installments. Combined with her mother's additional support, this should have been enough to live on. So why was Chen Wanting so desperate for money? And why did her first instinct for earning it involve selling her body? Was there more to this story? Sure enough, one market vendor revealed that Chen Wanting often complained to others, "I have to sleep with my brother to get money." According to reports, Chen Jiafu was born in 1975, the second child in his family. After graduating from junior high, he worked as a chef. Due to the family's financial struggles, no woman had ever shown interest in him, until 2012, when, with help from co-workers, he borrowed money to marry a mainland Chinese woman. Wait, a chef? The police suddenly recalled Chen Wanting's condition at death. Preserving a corpse with salt was highly unusual. The idea to use this method to mask decomposition might be linked to the suspect's professional background. Of course, in local folk beliefs, salt also had the power to ward off evil spirits. Perhaps the killer used this method to suppress the victim's spirit and soothe his own conscience. Police visited the buffet restaurant where Chen Jiafu worked. The owner told them that Chen Jiafu had always been hardworking and reliable, rarely taking time off. However, on March 12, he requested 2 days' leave, claiming he needed to deep clean his home. The owner agreed. Before leaving, Chen Jiafu even borrowed gloves and a kitchen knife. But this timeline didn't seem to match Chen Wanting's estimated time of death. The case hit another dead end. Police reviewed Chen Wanting's missing person file and found that her mother had reported her disappearance on December 17, 2012. Her severed head was discovered on March 15, 2013. Where had she been during those 3 months? And when exactly was she killed? The fact that her head had been salted and refrigerated further complicated the timeline. Clearly, the killer was deliberately obscuring the murder date. Yet at the same time, he had led police to the remains. He wanted people to know Chen Wanting was dead. Why? And where were the rest of her remains? With these questions haunting them, police decided to search Chen Jiafu's home. When confronted, Chen Jiafu appeared deeply distressed. He explained to police that after Chen Wanting's mental decline, she lost all sense of money management, often getting scammed out of her funds. He did his best to support her financially, but it was never enough. That was why she turned to prostitution. At this point, Chen Jiafu seemed heartbroken, blaming the men who paid her for sex for her death. Before leaving, police noticed 6 kitchen knives in Chen Jiafu's home. Under the pretext of investigation, they confiscated all 6. Meanwhile, officers reviewing surveillance footage made a chilling discovery. At 4:33 a.m. on March 13, 2013, 2 days before the head was found, Chen Jiafu, wearing a helmet and carrying a plastic bag, sneaked out of his home. Then at 10:48 a.m., he reappeared, now in a black down jacket, with a different plastic bag, loitering near the Jiayi public restroom. The bag matched the one used to store the head. Soon after, forensic results came back. Chen Wanting's blood was found on one of the knives. Police immediately arrested Chen Jiafu. Despite overwhelming evidence, Chen Jiafu denied all charges. He insisted he had been home the entire time and never visited any restroom. Whenever Chen Wanting was mentioned, he feigned mental instability. His mother also desperately defended him, claiming she knew her son better than anyone and that he could never kill Chen Wanting. Fearing her son's imprisonment, she produced a psychiatric evaluation from September of the previous year, which stated, Chen Jiafu suffered from moderate mental disability. With this document, Chen Jiafu grew even more defiant, at one point, spitting at officers during interrogation. Frustrated by his lack of cooperation, police obtained a search warrant. The moment they entered, 3 police dogs became agitated. Chillingly, the dogs barked incessantly in every room: the bedroom, kitchen, living room, balcony, and even the bathroom. This suggested Chen Wanting's body had been dismembered, and her remains had been stored throughout the house. Even more horrifying, blood residue was detected in a kitchen pot. Yet despite all this, Chen Jiafu still refused to confess. Police also uncovered his diary. Handwriting analysis confirmed it matched the 2 anonymous notes. The contents were bone-chilling. Chen Jiafu had documented his obsessions with female celebrities, particularly Taiwanese singer Jeannie Zhua. He had written graphic sexual fantasies about her and even mailed her used tissues containing his bodily fluids. At one of her fan events, Chen Jiafu stalked Jeannie Zhua, grabbing her hand and threatening her, "If you ever film a kissing scene, I'll get angry." Terrified, Zhua reported him to police. At first, investigators assumed Chen Jiafu's motive and bizarre disposal methods stemmed from his twisted psychology. But they soon discovered something even darker. 2 years earlier, Chen Jiafu had taken out a large life insurance policy on Chen Wanting, with himself and his mother as beneficiaries. The reason he revealed the body's location? Local insurance laws required a 7-year missing period before paying out for presumed death. Chen Jiafu couldn't wait that long. Meanwhile, another team tracked down Chen Jiafu's wife Lu, who had fled to mainland China. Initially, she claimed she had returned for a relative's funeral. But her shifty eyes betrayed her. Under intense questioning, Lu admitted she had seen Chen Wanting's frozen head in their fridge. Fearing her husband would kill her too, she fled. She also revealed that shortly after their marriage, Chen Jiafu had tried to insure her life, but failed due to residency issues. The truth was now completely revealed. Chen Jiafu's childhood had been far from happy. His alcoholic father frequently beat and berated him, causing his personality to gradually twist. His mother, sensing something wrong, sent him to serve in the military. After his discharge, Chen Jiafu's mental state grew even more unstable. He even attempted suicide 3 times, though each time he was saved. Yet to outsiders, Chen Jiafu appeared to be a decent man. He didn't smoke or drink, never fooled around, and was diligent at work, rarely taking time off. But some neighbors noted that he sometimes acted strangely. He would obsessively clean his motorcycle, then sit blankly on it, grinning vacantly at anyone he recognized. In February 2012, through a co-worker's introduction, Chen Jiafu met his now-wife, Lu. The two got along well, and within months, they decided to marry. Though Lu's family didn't demand a bride price, Chen Jiafu insisted on giving 260,000 NT as a gift, earning their approval. Little did they know, this was just part of his insurance fraud scheme. After marriage, Chen Jiafu's behavior drastically changed. He stopped giving Lu anything. Even her wedding ring was bought with her own money. Worse, he struggled with sexual performance, always finishing hastily. Though Lu never complained, Chen Jiafu became convinced she looked down on him. So he projected his desires onto female celebrities, fantasizing that Jeannie Zhua was his wife, using harassment to satisfy his urges. But this monster didn't stop there. Exploiting Chen Wanting's mental instability, he sexually assaulted his own sister for over 2 years. After each violation, he would give her small amounts of money to placate her, which was why she had said, "I have to sleep with my brother to get money." Yet Chen Wanting's increasingly erratic behavior finally pushed Chen Jiafu too far. He decided to accelerate his plan. This scheme had been years in the making. 2011, Chen Jiafu took out a 8.17 million NT plus $60,000 life insurance policy on Chen Wanting. December 2011, anticipating arrest, he began taking psychiatric medication. March 1, 2012, he successfully obtained a moderate mental disability certification. May 2012, to avoid suspicion, he started bringing home black plastic bags piece by piece. On December 9, 2012, after their mother left from a visit, Chen Jiafu strangled Chen Wanting. Horrifyingly, he decapitated her while her heart was still beating. Using his chef skills, he packed her head in salt to slow decay, then stored it in the fridge. Next, he dismembered her body, grinding the flesh in a meat processor and flushing it down the drain, while crushing and disposing of the bones separately. On December 30th, his wife Lu returned home and noticed a foul odor. When she suggested cleaning, Chen Jiafu berated her. By February 28, 2013, the stench became unbearable. While Chen Jiafu was out, Lu cleaned and found the head in the fridge. Fearing for her life, she fled to mainland China. Realizing his mistake, and with 3 months having passed, Chen Jiafu decided it was time to dispose of the head. March 11, 2013, he requested 2 days off, claiming he needed to clean. March 13th, he dumped the head in the public restroom. Before leaving, he wrapped it in panties stained with other men's semen, hoping to mislead police into suspecting a crime of passion. When no one found the bag after 2 days, he panicked and mailed the anonymous letter. Yet even then, Chen Jiafu refused to confess. Police sent him for psychiatric evaluation at NTU Hospital, but the report confirmed he was fully sane. With overwhelming evidence and Lu's testimony, prosecutors pushed for the death penalty, citing the crime's brutality and Chen Jiafu's lack of remorse. But then, Chen's mother pleaded for mercy, even kneeling before the judge, sobbing that she'd already lost a daughter and couldn't bear to lose her son. Her desperation made it seem as though her murdered daughter meant nothing. On April 30, 2015, citing Chen Jiafu's filial piety and his mother's pleas, the judge sentenced him to life imprisonment with permanent revocation of civil rights. The ruling sparked public outrage. Many argued, if he were truly filial, would he have butchered his sister? Others pointed out, his premeditation, the sheer brutality, and his meticulous cover-up all proved this was cold-blooded murder. After the trial, due to public fear over the ghost in the restroom legend, the temple demolished and rebuilt the toilet where the head was found. With that, the last trace of Chen Wanting's existence vanished. A life never valued, tortured by a sibling's greed and cruelty, was finally erased. If there is an afterlife, may Chen Wanting find the peace she was denied in this world. What are your thoughts on this case? Feel free to share in the comments. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this case, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow Case Diaries. There are plenty more cases coming your way. Got thoughts on today's story? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. See you in the next one.